The arrival of the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Dr. Sam Mayanja. Let's give him a big round of applause. Can we please be upstanding?
You don't even know where to report a case. And you can even find several institutions handling one case. Police can be handling the same case, but the LOC is also handling the same case. And now the RDC also comes in, and finally also State House Land Management comes in. So I think such a scenario, the lawyers, I think, call it forum shopping. Forum shopping means if I have a problem, then I go to a justice institution where I think I'm going to get better justice. And I think we need to discourage that. We need to have a hierarchy. A case should first go here, depending on the nature of the case. Then, if the first institution of instance has failed, then it should be referred in that hierarchy. We cannot afford to run in the current arrangement.
Badde ekoze aneera etuuse ku batuuze mu disitulikiti 13 mu disitulikiti 6 mu Central Region omuli Mubende, Kasanda, Mityana, Gomba, Butambala ne Kiboga. N'eryoka etalaaga neera yakola emirimu mu kitundu ky'Etteeso mu disitulikiti 3 eri omuli Kalaki, Soroti District, ne Kaperebyong awamu ne Katakwi District. Awo ate n'eryoka eyongera emirimu gyayo neyetalaaga negenda netuuka mu district y'eggulu wamu ne Padel, ate ekoze emirimu wamu n'abatuuze ababeera awamu n'ababundabunda abava e Congo n'abava e South Sudan mu district eza Madiokolo mu West Nile wamu ne Terego.
Housing and urban development, because I've partnered with the ministry for so many years, maybe 30 years or so, and we have been lobbying government. Why don't you reinvest some of the money, some of the revenue that you get from land so that we can improve the services? We have not succeeded, and I don't know whether we will succeed in the near future. Maybe to answer your question, maybe one of the ways is to put land high on the political agenda. Maybe a civil society, academia. Maybe when we are sensitizing people, we should ask them to put conditions to their members of parliament. How are you going to address our land issues? We are not going to give you a vote if you don't promise us that you are going to address land issues. Maybe that is the way, but so now we are in the election season, and the dynamics are always different. So it is a very difficult question, but obviously it is necessary for government to change the strategy.
Thank you, moderator. My name is Dr. Farouk from TOMALA. I would like to thank Professor for the presentation made. But my question or my concern is about mine, where in the process of land adjudication, we find that some people or persons were not mapped. As you are aware that we have a new succession law, and you might find that some registered owners or some land owners or proprietors have got land titles in the deceased. And when you try to tackle that issue, sometimes they can say that that file reflects in their succession register, ESA.
The 3rd of October, Germany celebrated its reunification day, and there were so many open questions on whose land is it, particularly in the eastern parts of Germany. And that needed to be sorted out. And we have Laura over there from the Civil Peace Program, who are sorting, helping to resolve conflicts on a very, very community-based level. That land rights, it's not only the legal process going through it, but it's also how people understand each other and how they can compromise. Hopefully in a good compromise rather than in a bad one. So what I would like to advocate here, that Germany is a very good partner in helping you sorting those problems and those challenges which we have here in the land tenure right system together with our colleagues in the ministry. And the gentleman from Terego, you mentioned the word peace.
You find people who are talking about historical injustices. How did the landlords acquire this land? Then you find people who are saying, no, but this is my land. Some of the landlords are saying, I don't want 10,000 because I live in Kampala. I cannot go now to Mityana to pick the 10,000. Even transport is much more than that. So, to me, I think we need to have a longer discussion and acquire knowledge. In some of the areas that we worked on, we even managed to mediate people and they would agree on how to handle the situation. So dialogue, I think, is the best alternative for that issue. As a very good and a seasoned mediator, yes, criminal cases are many, and many of them come out of land. And also, when you see, courts are not good institutions for handling land disputes, especially in the rural areas. Because you know what courts do? Courts always get a winner, of course, based on some evidence and robust evidence. But you see, in a rural area, somebody will win a case. One person will win a case, but leave the entire community disgruntled. So what have you done? You've really done nothing. Now that win in court can be a disaster. People can wait for the person who has won and they reach the person. So to me, I think if we look at other alternative ways of dispute resolution, which Reverend John and other people are advancing.
That arises from the kind of sum is my name, sorry. I'm a social worker. So if all the disharmony we have, as I understood it and I know, is related to land, why doesn't government take it upon itself to have all the land registered mandatorily, so that all costs become a non-issue? Like you have education, free education, because an illiterate population is a cost to government. Then land issues should be a cost to government, and government we should rethink about the approach. The costs are not necessary. If that is the mess that we want to solve, that the social disharmony should not be there. It should be a free registration anyway.
In UN Habitat, even ZOA, where they have mediated, you will never see any issue, because you bring the two parties, apart from settling the dispute, they are even reconciling. And when they reconcile and they all agree, then they bury the hatchets and you are not going to find a problem. It is different from going to court where even most of the rural people don't even understand the language. I am a professor, but sometimes when I go to court, even I get lost sometimes what they are saying. And I must ask my lawyer to interpret to me what they are saying. Now, what about the rural person there who does not even speak English? A lot of procedure, a lot of technicalities, and these things can be addressed through these local-based land institutions that do alternative dispute resolution.
cannot be worked upon. Now I'm requesting Professor at least to have a kind of way, what can we advise our government on files concerning SR, because it is an impediment in land documentation. Thanks.
University, actually, students ask us a lot of questions, and every time we have to really account to the students on everything. A level that students these days sit on our appointments boards, they even see how to do things and they build capacity. But we should not wait for another level before we go to other areas. We need to see what lessons have we learned and how can these lessons help us to go in. Be a landlord, or at least because we have worked also with GIZ in Mitiana, in Mubende, and we know some of those sentiments about the Busuru, and we also know the tenants really also sentiments about Busuru, so it is a big...
Dear Alicia, the head of German Development Corporation of the German Embassy, dear Christina Banuta, our focal point, head of private sector agribusiness.
But after wonderful Professor Mzonal and Daniel, your speech, I think I'm a little bit lost for words. I'm quite emotional, particularly when I saw you and the team and what we've achieved together with our government partners. On the one hand,